All right. What's going on, everyone?
Yeah, Avi.
Oh, hello. All right. What's this thing?
Necrobiosis lipoica
Yeah,
Okay.
of punch biopsy of necrobiosis
It's a
lipoica.
punch biopsy. And how do we know it's NLD?
there's this histiocytic infiltrate that appears to be like in a layered cake appearance. You can see some like focalized concentrations of these histiocytes a little bit deeper down.
Okay. So,
And usually I believe NLD also falls under like maybe like a square biopsy pattern. The actual like punch itself looks very angulated and square.
okay. So you got a square biopsy. You have this interstitial. Hold on. Okay, wait a second. Hold on. I have to. There we go. Okay. All right. I think I fixed it. Okay. Okay, there we go. All right. So yeah, it's granulomatous. You mentioned the histiocytes. And what are the things that differentiate this, say, from GA? Like why is this NLD and not like GA or something?
Well, like NLD, my understanding is the fact that it's a very layered appearance, and then GA, less so. Probably like there's many different variants of GA, like interstitial and palisading, but that doesn't necessarily look like this.
Yeah, okay. So top, bottom, side to side. Yes, agreed. Um, what else? What other differences between NLD and GA are there? So what kind of cells are this, for example?
Those are plasma cells, and we see those more commonly on the shins, which is where you see NLD
So more common to see plasma cells in NLD than
GA.
GA. Okay, good. What about if we were to throw a colloidal iron on this?
There's going to be more mucin in GA.
More common to see mucin in GA than NLD. Okay. But yeah, you guys got it. Okay. What about this one?
This is square biopsy of rheumatoid arthritis or rheumatoid nodule.
So it's in the differential of broader. Palisaded.
Also in GA, or
Well,
like
more
some
broad.
like
Let's just before we pull the trigger on a specific diagnosis. Let's start from the beginning. This is a punch biopsy. We agree on that. This has granulomas. This is a granulomatous, palisaded granulomas infiltrate. Agree on that. Could also say this is a square biopsy sign, by the way. What's different here?
Oh, you can see the cholesterol clefts in there.
Ah, if you want to know, Dr. Phelps taught us a new word, by the way. He calls these acicular, which is a fancy word for needle-like. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, cholesterol clefts. So, okay, so there's cholesterol clefts in here. And if I were to tell you this biopsy came from the same patient, and now what do we think?
Wait, sorry, this biopsy came from the same patient?
Same patient, same cholesterol clefts, it's just another
Yeah.
biopsy from the same patient.
Giant cells.
Giant cells. Multinucleated giant cells. Some describe these as wreath-like giant cells.
Oh yeah.
What else?
Some areas of
Necrosis.
necrosis?
So it looks so, you know, it's not true, like necrobiosis isn't true necrosis, at least according to some, because the collagen wasn't alive to begin with. But I'm trying to clue you in. You see how it has like a kind of dirtier appearance? What's going on? What other cells are here?
There's some eosinophils. There's these bilobed. And also looks like there could be some newts as well.
Yeah, there's neutrophils here.
So very busy dermis.
So there's neutrophil, and there's also, you can see some neutrophil dust here as well. It has a dirtier appearance. So let's put it all together. Cholesterol clefts, palisated granulomatous dermatitis with cholesterol clefts, multinucleated giant cells, some in a wreath-like pattern, and a dirty appearance. Neutrophils are present. What are we thinking here?
NXG.
An XG. What's an association with NXG?
Juvenile myeloid leukemia.
There's a triple association.
And neurofibromatosis.
And diabetes insipidus, right? Or am I
So
confusing something else?
I think
I thought the triple association is JXG.
JXG, not NXG. Yeah. So what is associated? So that's not associated with NXG. What is associated with NXG?
IgG kappa monoclonal gammopathy.
Yes. Kappa gammopathy. IgG kappa. By the way, what about scleromyxedema? What's that associated with? In terms of...
IgG kappa as well.
No.
Oh, lambda.
Lambda. Yes. Good. Okay. So scleromyxedema, IgG lambda, NXG, IgG kappa. Quick, what's the triple association with JMML?
NF1 and JXG and JMML. Right.
Good. They test that. All right. What's this? What's going on?
Looks like a palisated granuloma.
Palisated granuloma. Very good. Yes. Where is the palisated granuloma?
Deep.
Deep. What's your differential for a deep palisated granuloma like this?
Deep GA.
Deep GA is a thought. Okay.
Mhm.
And then what else?
Rheumatoid nodule.
Rheumatoid nodule. That's basically the top two things in the differential here. So we got to make a decision. Do we think this is fibrin or mucin?
It looks more fibrinoid.
Yeah,
So
looks more like fibrin.
rheumatoid nodule.
This was a rheumatoid nodule. Very good. If you wanted to confirm, what stain would you use?
Colloidal iron.
Oh yeah, you put a colloidal iron on it. See if there's mucin. As opposed to something like this.
This is more superficial, but also a palisading granuloma.
Palisated granuloma. And what's inside the palisated granuloma?
It's more lighter, so most likely mucin.
Mucin, yes. I mean, you can see it, right?
Yeah.
So what is it?
GA.
GA. What type of GA?
Palisated.
Palisaded.
Palisated or classical GA. Is this the type of GA we usually see?
No.
No. Yeah.
We usually see interstitial GA.
Just like this.
Just like this. Love it. All right, but what are we seeing? Describe it.
histiocytic infiltrate, quite literally like infiltrating within like the superficial and deeper dermis, and you can see like it's all light as well, so it's you can see that's all mucin as well in between all these collagen fibrils.
Perfect. And why is it not NLD? We just
It's
saw?
not so layered. It doesn't seem. It's just like it's like there's no pattern to it. It just seems like it's just diffused throughout.
Yeah, just a patchy diffuse infiltrate. You can see that it's not top to bottom, side to side. Mucin also goes against NLD. Good. Okay. It's recognizing interstitial GAs. Excellent. And what's this?
Another palisading granuloma.
Another palisaded granuloma. I love it. Some superficial perivascular too, up top. Palisaded granuloma down below. So what's our differential?
GA.
Deep GA.
Rheumatoid nodule.
Rheumatoid nodule. We got to make a decision, okay? What are we thinking?
More GGA.
This is the
all light.
Can see that it's the mucin pushing apart the individual. Yes, good.
Avi, can I ask a very, very basic question?
How do you know your question's basic? Maybe it's like
because
really advanced.
It's extreme. Like, I'm embarrassed to ask it, but what exactly is the definition of palisaded granuloma? Like, what is it just referring to the way that the histiocytes are lining up, or like what is it actually?
Yeah. So remember how like so they are lining up and they're walling something off over here. So remember, like we use palisaded in a lot of different ways. Like what other context do we use palisaded?
The basal cell.
The basal cell. You know how those cells were lining up like that?
Yeah.
So
But-
they're not exactly like that, and because they're histiocytes, but they are lining up and they're walling something off. They're surrounding something.
Right. So, but
As
my
opposed to
confusion,
interstitial GA, look at the histiocytes in interstitial GA. Are they walling something off, lining up, forming anything like that?
no, but isn't the definition of a granuloma histiocytes like coming together around something?
You can have granulomas that are palisading around something, like walling something off, and you can have granulomatous inflammation like this. This is a granulomatous infiltrate because they're just histiocytes, but they're not forming a palisaded granuloma.
So something can be a granuloma without it actually like coalescing around something.
So when they say so the way I would describe this is a granulomatous infiltrate, like a granulomatous dermatitis, which just means there's histiocytes or giant cells. In a granuloma, my understanding is that is more of a discrete type of nodule. So in that sense, they would be walling something off, but I don't necessarily think that means it has to have this palisaded appearance that you see histologically. So the description here, so you can have granulomatous dermatitis or a granulomatous infiltrate, and that does not have to be palisaded. You can also have a granuloma, and that doesn't have to have that palisaded appearance, although it would be a more discrete nodule.
Right.
But palisaded granuloma is something like this, where the histiocytic infiltrate is not just present, but it's organized around something that you'd see. Like it's around here and it's around here. It's multifocal here. It's not just this one granuloma, but it's a granulomatous infiltrate that is palisading around things.
Got it. And the one previously that you were just showing, which was a granulomatous infiltrate, that
It's also a granulomatous infiltrate, by the way.
yeah, but it also is a granuloma. That one, what did we say this was again? GA?
This is interstitial GA.
Right. Okay. So you don't necessarily have to have the granuloma in GA. Got it. Okay.
So there's granulomatous infiltrates that are more diffuse and they're not granulomas. There's And this is one of them. This is also, this you can describe as a granulomatous infiltrate as well. This is not just this one discrete palisade. There's palisades here and here and here. So this is best described as a granulomatous dermatitis. Palisaded granulomatous dermatitis. Same page?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, very good. And what do we see here?
This is a shave biopsy with a bunch of appears to be could be solar elastosis, but I mean it just looks like it's a lot of like could be also like a bunch of mucin as well.
All right. What do you think?
My
Looks like-
vote is solar elastosis.
It is solar elastosis. Good. Now, notice the depth of the solar elastosis. Makes sense. That's about where the sun shines, right?
Uh-huh.
Uh-oh. It stopped. Is that the same depth?
No.
Okay. Did the sun like shine less over here?
Probably not.
No.
You know. You think a
Probably
micron
not.
difference at like a few, of course it did. It shined
that-
the
that-
same.
The person only wore the same t-shirt every day and it was right at the edge.
Yeah, and then it came back over here, right? So it's gone over here and it's gone over here and it's gone over here, right? So what happened over here?
Something pushing it up.
Well, something could be pushing or it could be
Eating it.
eating it.
Is it
Eating
an
it out.
actinic granuloma?
Actinic granuloma. And by the way, what kind of cell is this?
Histiocyte, multinucleated.
Yes, it's a multinucleated histiocyte. And what's this?
Is that like an elastic fiber
Where's it going?
into the histiocyte?
Into the histiocyte.
No, it's eating it.
What do we call that?
Elastolysis.
Elastophago.
Oh, elastophago.
Like lysosome? Like the entirety of it?
Elastophagocytosis.
Yeah. Elastophagocytosis. All right. So we see elastophagocytosis. There's granulomatous infiltrate, granulomatous dermatitis, whatever we want. So yeah, so granulomatous dermatitis, there is a granulomatous infiltrate. It is also, by the way, is it palisading?
Yes.
Yes, good. It is palisading. And it's palisading around these areas that are devoid of solar elastosis relative to the background. And why is that? Because they're eating it. If I were to throw a colloidal iron on this, the textbook answer and the answer for your boards, what would that be?
No mucin.
No mucin. That is the answer for your boards. Good. Okay, excellent. So I actually did have a patient that I did a biopsy on just when I was a third year, right at the end of my third year, the last week of my third year rotation. I had this patient. He had a photo reaction. So he went to phototherapy for like psoriasis or some kind of psoriasiform dermatitis. And he had this eruption all over his arms and trunk. Biopsied it. Then I started my Dermpath fellowship. And then well, guess what he had?
Actinic granulomas.
Exactly this. Yes. So I guess it's real. Like, yeah, I mean, he just erupted with actinic granulomas in response to phototherapy. It's crazy. What about this?
I see granulomas. Okay, appear gives you like kind of like isolated or naked.
They're naked, yes. Okay. What's another word for that? So these types of granulomas.
Non-caseating.
Okay, they're also they are also non-caseating. That's true. They don't have lymphocytes surrounding them and they're non-caseating.
Sarcoidal.
Sarcoidal, yes. They are sarcoidal granulomas. And what's your differential for sarcoidal granulomas?
Sarcoid?
That should be number one. Like number 1, 2, and 3 is like sarcoid, sarcoid, sarcoid. Yeah. What else?
I think like zinc, zirconium.
Okay, so foreign body sarcoidal
Yeah.
granulomas. So what's your differential for foreign body sarcoidal granulomas?
There's like
Zirconium is one.
silicosis, zirconium, zinc,
Can it be tattoo?
Okay, so
Pigment?
you can get granulomatous tattoo reactions. They're not always granulomatous. I mean, so they're not always sarcoidal granulomatous. But you can get that, yes.
I believe LMDF is caseating.
What about beryllium? Anyone mention
Oh
that?
yeah, berilliosis.
Okay.
Yes.
Beryllium foreign body. And sometimes, by the way, sometimes this can be sarcoid and what's happening is the foreign body sort of precipitates out the sarcoid. So the patient has either a predisposition of sarcoid or underlying sarcoidosis, and then they get this foreign body like zirconium or beryllium, and then it's like a sarcoidal granuloma reaction to the foreign body, and then like they image the lungs and like, it's there too. What's going on? And now the patient has sarcoidosis. So sometimes that can also happen. Okay.
This looks follicular based. Is this like is this rosacea, like granulomatous rosacea?
Okay, granulomatous. I'm not really seeing the folliculars. There's also something else. Like there's granulomatous, but what other cell is there? It's actually multiple other cells here.
Plasma cells, lymphocytes.
There's yeah, and what else? What are all these?
Neutrophils.
Numerous ones of these. These are
Neutrophils.
neutrophils. So when we have granulomatous inflammation with neutrophils, what do we call that?
Maybe infection.
It's a very good sign of infection. But what do we call the type of inflammation?
Suppurative?
I'm sorry, it was really low. I couldn't hear it.
Suppurative?
Suppurative because suppurative is the neutrophil part, right? We also have
in
suppurative and
Granulomatous.
granulomatous. Yes, a suppurative and granulomatous dermatitis. Right. Yes, you're absolutely right. You have to think of infection when you do this. And by the way, what else is there in this biopsy? What's going on with all this epithelium?
it was like penetrating deep down.
Yeah, stretch out, pointy. Is it cancer? Is it like a patient has a cancer now?
Would we call this pseudoepitheliomatous hyperplasia?
Yes, this is a reactive phenomenon to the suppurative granulomatous dermatitis.
Oh gosh.
Pseudoepitheliomatous hyperplasia with that neutrophil component. What's that? Pseudoepitheliomatous hyperplasia with pus.
Here comes big green leafy veggies.
The here come big green leafy veggies differential.
Yeah.
What's that?
Histoplasmosis, chromo.
Wait. H is what?
Oh, halogenoderma. No.
Halogenoderma, yes, but histo can
Okay.
do this too. Yes, you're right.
Okay, halogenoderma,
Mhm.
chromoblastomycosis or
Okay.
chromomycosis,
Yes.
blastomycosis,
Okay.
granuloma inguinale,
Hmm.
uh, here's big green, leafy, leishmaniasis, and then pemphigus vegetans.
Leash can do it. Pemphigus vegetans can do it. Wait, so here come big green leafy veggies. Yeah. Now also there are some other things that can do this also. So by the way, this type of appearance, this glassy type of keratinocytic appearance and neutrophils can happen in KAs, right? Because remember, KAs have those neutrophilic microabscesses. But when you see this, you have to think of some kind of infection. Where are the high yield parts? So if you see this, like, where are we gonna like really look for infections? Like if we're looking for bugs.
Maybe superficially, or
Well, one thing, what cells do we have that take care of bugs?
yes.
Bugs meaning like not necessarily parasitic bugs. I don't mean insects per se.
Macrophages.
Macrophages or giant cells, right? If there's a giant cell, we might want to look what's inside the giant cell. That's an idea. Other ideas are areas of transepidermal elimination. So skin has a very interesting tendency to just never give up. And ever guys hear of a spitting suture?
Yeah.
Similar things happen in infections, by the way. Just like you can have a spitting suture, you can have just this transepidermal elimination of organisms. So those can be some high yield areas to look at. So by the way, we just looked at it. Did we find it? Here's your giant cell and what's there.
Chromomycosis.
Chromomycosis.
It's chromo. Yeah. Chromo.
Like is that the copper pennies
The
or
copper pennies, or other name is
medullary bodies?
medullary bodies. Yes. Very good. Okay.
Punch, deep,
Agreed.
uh, deep, histiocytic infiltrate.
Yep. Okay. Histiocytic infiltrate.
Mm-hmm.
Where is it? How is it?
Like deep, like in like
Deep.
the sub, like the sub.
In the dermis, not all
subcutaneous.
the way in the fat, but it's in the deeper dermis.
Yeah.
Is it just there? A nodule, palisaded?
It just looks infiltrating. It doesn't look it's like a nodule.
Yeah,
or
it's an interstitial pattern. Okay, good.
interstitial, yeah.
There's another type of cell you can see in this.
EOS?
EOs. There are EOs here as well. So this was from a patient who had this cord-like plaque.
Interstitial granulomatous, just like that interstitial granulomatous dermatitis.
Yeah, it's a dermatitis, it's granulomatous, and it's interstitial. What do we call it?
IgDA.
Yeah.
Yeah, we call it just that, interstitial granulomatous dermatitis. As opposed to this, by the way, what is this?
Punch granuloma.
It's a is it palisaded?
Doesn't look like it. Or it's like circumscribed.
And here are the histiocytes on the outside.
The palisaded.
There's something else here too.
Yeah.
Two other things.
Is all lymphocytes or newts?
Newts. There's also dust here from the newts.
Carriorexis.
And the other thing that's been described as collagen degeneration here, that I actually have found that helpful because I see these in these entities, I see these thicker, redder collagen bundles near the palisades. I don't know if that's a well described thing, but whenever this comes up on exams, I just happen to notice it. So it's palisaded. It's a granulomatous dermatitis. There's neutrophils. What might we call that?
Palisaded neutrophilic granulomatous.
Palisaded and neutrophilic granulomatous dermatitis. This is one of the things in Dermpath that actually makes sense. What happened here?
Necrosis of the fat?
Okay, you can think of necrosis of the fat. What's wrong with necrosis of the fat? Well, let's see.
Like there's no discrete fat lobules.
There's really no fat here. And it's frothy.
Yeah.
Is this a suture?
Well, suture wouldn't be this large or frothy like this. It would be, you would see the suture fibers. Do you see any suture fibers?
No.
No. So it's
Silica?
Sorry? I didn't hear.
Is it silica? No.
Okay, so silica is a thought. In that case, in silica, well, you mean silicone, right?
I was thinking of silica granuloma, but
Oh,
yeah.
a silica granuloma. Well, it's actually interesting because do you see much of a granuloma here? You would think with something foreign like this, you would get a granulomatous
You
reaction.
get a big reaction. You don't really see that.
Yeah, no.
You see, it's the wimpiest thing ever. It's like maybe some cells are trying, but not really. There's really
Yeah.
not much of a granuloma. In fact, there's really not a whole lot of inflammation for something I would expect to be an enormous amount of inflammation for this type of foreign body.
oh,
Yeah.
it's Iltac.
Triamcinolone.
Oh.
You
I
darn
thought it was
clinicians.
more blue or something. It didn't look too blue.
Triamcinolone. It's not really that blue. It's a little bit. It's more frothy. It's not hyaluronic acid. And yes, the reason why there's no inflammation in response to this is because
This is
the
a filler.
triamcinolone is making it that way. It's by design. All right, very good.
This looks like a caseating granuloma.
Yes, you recognize the caseous necrosis. Okay, and what other so let's be descriptive here. Okay, so caseous necrosis. Recognize that. Okay, that you see that here, right? Good.
Mm-hmm.
What about all this stuff?
It's all like inflammation, lymphocytic amongst histiocytes as well.
Okay, are they naked?
Yes.
They are.
No,
Oh,
they're
no.
They're
No, there's a lot
completely
in
surrounded by these lymphocytes. Like they are dressed up for winter, my friends. It's not even summertime. Okay. So what do we call those types of granulomas?
Caseating or non-sarcoidal granulomas.
Not okay. So what kind of non-sarcoidal caseating granuloma? What kind of granuloma is that?
Tuberculoid.
Tuberculoid. Yes. These are and so what might we be thinking here?
Tuberculoid leprosy. Or acute miliary tuberculosis.
Okay, so miliary TB, it's usually not this large. Like it's usually more multifocal. Looks more similar to what other entity, by the way?
LMDF.
Lupus miliaris disseminatus fascia, yes. But that doesn't really look like this. This is quite large for that. I mean, you can so cutaneous, I mean, it looks like TB, guys.
Oh, so is this like TB cutis or
Yeah, cutaneous TB.
Just continuous TB, okay.
Okay,
Well,
what are you gonna stain this?
s- like spirochetes, so
Fight.
Atypical
atypical
mycobacteria,
like fight or
fight AFB.
zeal Neeson or
You're gonna look for the fight in AFB for for your atypical mycobacteria, right?
yeah.
Okay, good. As opposed to, so look at how large that was and compare that to this. So we're like, first of all, with these structures, where might we be?
Maybe on the face.
Yeah,
like
on the
the
face.
apic grin.
Okay, and then look at this, and this. First of all, what kind of
Caseating.
caseating?
Palisading.
Mm-hmm. So what's your differential?
LMDF or
Semospacia or
granulomatous rosacea.
so okay, fine. If you're a lumper or a splitter, okay, so then I'm gonna ask you three things. So
God.
if you're a splitter and you are of the camp that believes granulomatous rosacea is a separate entity from lupus miliaris seminispatiae, which not everyone does, fine, we'll give you two. But then what else is on your differential?
Tuberculosis.
Okay, what type?
Miliary TB.
Miliary TB. And what are you gonna do?
Stain.
You're gonna stain it with the same things we talked about. Very good.
Wait, so what was the answer for that?
Oh, this was lupus miliaris
Oh,
seminispatiae.
LMDF. Okay.
Yeah.
Work. Okay.
What's the shape of this thing?
Round, rotund, or just like pedunculated.
Yeah, dunculated, polypoid. What's inside it?
Oh, it's like these ringed histiocytes as well, like these the wreath-like structures.
Okay. Has that ring around it?
Uh-huh.
It's there's a lot of giant cells here. What kind of giant cells might they be? Look just like this.
Is this like
Teuton.
giant
Very
cells?
good.
Yeah.
Teuton giant cells. And sometimes you can get other cells in the infiltrate as well. Oh, look at this one. It's beautiful. Yeah, sometimes you can get eosinophils in these among you can get a polymorphous infiltrate. But yes, recognizing, okay, so if you're seeing this, what are you thinking? You guys,
JXG.
you're thinking JXG. And now what's the triple association?
JML and neurofibromatosis.
Very good. Okay. Yes. We got there. I mean, by the way, can you get these on adults?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what do we call it?
Just a xanthogranuloma.
Yeah, just an XG. Yeah.
Avi, I have a question. Don't you also get the Teuton giant cells in reticulohistiocytosis?
No, okay. Teuton versus two-tone.
Oh, yes.
Reticular histiocytosis, they are two-tone
Two-toned.
giant
Yeah.
cells. Or
Okay.
amphiphilic.
With ground glass cytoplasm.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. In JXG, they're two-ton giant cells.
So this is papillomatous.
Yes.
Let's see if there are any fat cells. Yes.
Yes.
Foamy cells in the papillom. And what would you call? What are they called again? In the
So the redi are going. So these redi
In
are
the
going up here, and the papilla
yeah.
going up here.
in the papilla. That's what I
The
was trying to say.
papilla, they have these foamy cells,
Yeah.
and you can see there's this eosinophilic material here. It's kind of like some describe this as a wart on fire.
Uh-huh.
Verrucous papillomatosis.
So
No,
it is verrucous and it is papillomatosis. That's not the name for the
Verrucous,
entity.
oh, I forget the name.
So there's also another cell here that's also very common in this entity. What are these guys?
I have no idea.
These cells?
They
These
look like
inflammatory
tiny
cells?
little granules, but they don't look like.
Neutrophil.
They're neutrophils.
Oh
Yeah.
wow. Okay.
In fact, it's loaded with neutrophils, and very commonly this entity is loaded with neutrophils.
Cruciform xanthoma.
Veruciform xanthoma. Very good.
Hmm.
So, Veruciform xanthoma, it has a papillomatous architecture. You have these V-shaped eosinophilic like areas. Some describe them as a wart on fire. Yes, the key is, as you honed in on, those foamy cells. And don't miss, it's not subtle. Like once you see it, you're not going to forget it. Like it's the neutrophils are a very good clue to Veruciform xanthoma that I personally found. I personally found that these things are often loaded with neutrophils.
For recognizing the neutrophils, someone described them at one point as looking like ants, which I found really helpful.
Yeah. And some people say ants, some people say Mickey Mouse. If there's dust, you can call them decapitated ants. You're that malignant. But yes. All right. First of all, where are we?
Mucosa.
Mucosa. Okay, very good. Second of all, what happened?
Oh my god, it's so huge.
Is this a cyst?
Okay. Let's describe it and be more specific. It's kind of like does this look like a TC? Does this look like an epidermal occlusion cyst?
No.
No.
It's like median raphe cyst or
No, it doesn't have it's
Mucocele?
not- What are these cells?
plasma cells?
Oh, these are way too big for plasma cells. And they don't have the perinuclear Hoff or the clock face nucleus.
They're not mast cells, right?
They're not mast cells. And what are they eating up? In fact, you'll notice what's in the cytoplasm kind of looks similar to this.
Mucin.
Oh, some muciphages of
They're
mucocele.
muciphages. Yes.
It's like minor salivary gland rupture, most likely.
Yeah, what kind of entity can we get? Fortunately, these salivary glands look okay. There's some inflammation on them. But what entity can we get near at the lip that has this?
A mucocele?
A mucocele. Yes. That's exactly what this is. So be able to recognize. So you got the location, you identified the location perfectly. You got mucosa, and then like, look, there's this beautiful, well circumscribed glob of like this, well, amorphous material of goop. And you see the muciphages in there as well.
Yeah, sorry, quick, very basic question. Why some mucin appear to be like pinkish, or sometimes they appear to be bluish? Is this something to do with the like staining techniques?
Now there's different. So this, my understanding is this is not the same type of mucin that you would see in like a hyaluronic acid filler.
I see.
Like mucus. Like I have to look into what the exact composition of like a mucocele has, but I don't think it's just sialomucin or any of the three mucin. It's like a mucoid substance. But yes, this is typical for how like the the substance would look. And sometimes you don't get this, by the way. Sometimes like in the processing, this could all shell out and you kind of have to infer based, like you'll get something like this. You see how it's all already starting to cleft out? Like you'll get something like this and you kind of have to infer it. All right.
Punch biopsy with a lot of histiocytes infiltrates in the dermal layer. I'd say it's probably I don't see I don't see like a palisading pattern. I assume it's
What
interstitial.
kind of histiocytes do you see?
I think they kind of lose the cellular structure. No,
They have a very clear cellular structure.
oh, okay. So it's not necrobiosis. So they have gigantic nuclei, if that's the nuclei.
They have a nucleus and a nucleolus. What else do you say about
Here's
them?
the two-toned.
Two tones. Yes, we got there. Okay. Like we were discussing before. So we're not two. This is not the two-ton, it's the two-toned. Or amphiphilic. Do you see how there's taking up both the hematoxylin and eosin? They're both pink and purple. Here we're more purple. Here we're more pink. Sometimes we're a little combination. Both pink and purple. Pink and blue. That's what two-tone looks like. Amphiphilic. And you see how all these cells also look, they clearly have some people also say like there are these discrete patterns where they almost look like they're in their own lacunae. So what's that good for?
Reticular.
RHG.
Reticulohistiocytoma or reticulohistiocytosis. If this is a solitary lesion, what does it mean for the patient? Most likely.
Do you mean like prognosis or do you mean where the
Yeah,
lesion?
prognosis. Is there any associations we have to
Good
worry about?
prognosis.
Good prognosis, yeah.
Do we have to worry about any associations?
No.
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 All right. If the patient has multiple of these,
Bad prognosis.
okay,
Not
what do we have
good.
to worry about?
Is it like rheumatoid arthritis?
A mutilating arthritis. Yes. What else?
Maybe like multiple myeloma or one of those IgG.
Hematologic malignancy.
Cancer.
Yeah.
Yes. Cancer and mutilating arthritis are the two associations. What about this one?
Shave again with like histiocytic infiltrate that looks interstitial. There are some different cell types here, it seems.
Are there foamy cells or
They're foamy.
yeah.
They are
Very
foamy.
And what else is there?
Fibrin or mucin?
Well, there's foamy cells
Uh-huh.
and there's foamy out of the cells.
Uh-huh.
Just droplet.
Fat. The fat erupted too quickly and it just spread everywhere.
Yeah.
Eruptive xanthoma.
Eruptive xanthoma. Oh, yes, exactly. So it makes sense, both clinically and histologically. They erupt. What do the patients look like when you have eruptive xanthomas?
They're like covered in these.
They're covered and they just just popped up. And
Yeah.
and also the word erupt is what happened here as well. Outside of the cell. Compared to this, what do we see here?
These also
Foamy?
look
So
foamy
foamy
Outside or
narrow.
inside?
inside.
Inside. So
Did you say regular xanthoma?
this is just the xanthoma, or in this case, it was around the eye. It was
So
xanthelasma.
xanthelasma.
Yes, very good. So different, being able to recognize if it's just intracellular or extracellular, you get tested on it. Well, that's how they test you on eruptive xanthoma. Give me 3 colors.
Deep purple, pink, and light purple.
Yeah, or almost like kind of red, white, and bluish. So it must
Oh,
be LSNA, right? There's like white areas, blue areas, red areas. LSNA, yeah?
no.
No. No. Okay. So we have the white areas because they're probably what? There's probably what kind of cell in here? The clear areas with a lot of cytoplasm. There's a lot of,
That.
not necessarily fat. Some of them might be foamy, but not really.
Histiocytes.
There's a lot of histiocytes, and in this case, they're kind of almost pseudosyncytial. They're kind of like clump. You may not be able to tell where one histiocyte ends and the other begins.
Wait, sorry, why is that with a lot of white space though?
No, they can have vacuoles. I mean, in this case, there's vacuolation for sure.
Oh, so
But
those
there's
aren't
more
cells.
clearer areas because the histiocytes just have a lot more cytoplasm. So they tend to have more of a clear area. If you just compare that to this, for example, there's a lot of lymphocytes, and that causes a more of darker area. The collagen is just the red. So the point is, if you go to the clear areas, you're more likely to see, instead of just a bunch of lymphocytes, the more lighter areas, you'll probably get the histiocytes. And if we look at those histiocytes, there's another cell we can see here. We can start seeing these cells, which are
Plasma cells.
plasma cells. Okay. So what's off about these histiocytes?
And I
Like
have
this
intact cells inside of them.
Yeah, there's intact cells, and like this histiocyte, like there is a plasma cell inside here, just chilling.
So that's emperipolysis.
Emperipoiesis.
Oh, Rosa Dorfman.
Rosi Dorfman. What are we going to stain?
I don't know if that's. I know how it stains. I don't know.
How
if,
does
like,
it stain?
Isn't it like
Uh,
CD like 1A? Is that what you're trying to get at?
Is
Like
CD1A positive or negative in Rosi Dorfman? You're going to stain with CD1A, but what's it going to be?
it's negative.
Negative. Okay,
And
what else?
CD68 that it's positive, and then Langerlin.
Okay, 6. Yeah, that's
And
positive.
Langerlin is
The
negative. Like
histiocytes,
this,
so he's going to stain positive.
yeah. This is like a a non-LCH Langerhans cell histiocytosis.
Okay.
mhm.
What?
That's 100.
S100. How's that going to stain?
Negative.
Positive.
Negative.
Oh, negative. Yeah, it only stains positive for CD68.
Positive, I think.
Hold on. Let me see.
It stains for S100 too.
Stains for, I'm pretty sure it stains for S100. So S100, my understanding, S100 positive, CD1A negative, Langer negative. But S100 should be positive. So one thing they can test you on are like the histiocytic lesions that stain positive for S100. Like Rosi Dorfman's one of them.
Mm-hmm.
What's another like histiocytic lesion that stains positive for S100?
Well, there's intermediate cell histiocytosis, Langerhans cell histiocytosis.
Okay.
Both of those stain positive for S100.
What if you took a lesion from the tongue?
Oh, granular cell
Granular cell
tumor?
tumors is, yeah, that'll stain for a histiocytic mark, and it'll also stain for S100. So that's another thing they may like to. Okay, and by the way, intermediate cell histiocytosis. How's that different staining from Rosa Dorfman?
Intermediate is positive for CD1A,
It
but
is positive for CD1A.
yeah.
Very good. Okay, but note that this is important because that's fair game, and they test this. Like, know your histiocytoses, know how they stain. This is just another example. Look again, and again, low power, the red, the white, and the blue, right? And you can see you may have a hard time finding where one histiocyte begins and the other ends. But a clue here is like you can start seeing these plasma cells. Plasma cells are a good clue to Rosa Dorfman.
Could you just point out the imperiopoliosis one more time, Avi?
Sure. In this case, it's not as clear, but I'll point out. Let's see. Okay, here. You see how there's a histiocyte over here?
Uh-huh.
Do you see how inside the histiocyte there's like a plasma cell?
Oh yeah.
Or a lymphocyte you can see?
Yeah.
Passing through. It's not being digested or anything.
Yeah.
That's imperipoiesis.
Okay.
All right. This is just an example of eruptive xanthoma, so I won't bore you with that. Okay, what about this? What do we see here?
A very large histiocytic infiltrate that's like it's like all the reedy ridges are gone from it.
Okay, so I mean there's something in here. It's effacing the epidermis. All right, let's see. Let's give you the low power here. It's going pretty deep. And what kind of cells are they?
Histiocytes.
Are they Langerhans cells?
Yeah, what gave you the clue about that?
Oh, it's like the
Like
horseshoe.
They're what?
They look
Are
like
they-
coffee beans.
Coffee bean.
Kidney beans, or another
Oh,
name
kidney
for
beans.
that.
Reniform.
Reniform. Okay, how's this going to stain?
Positive for CD1A, positive for CD207, positive for CD68, and positive for S100.
Okay, good. What's going on here?
It's spitting whatever it was.
It's what?
I was thinking it's spitting out something.
Okay. There's fibers here. Okay. I mean,
Like
something's coming out of here.
corroded and crusty. There's
It's
no
what?
there's like the epidermis is missing right there, and then it's like serous, crusty, and neutrophil-y, like it's like eroded.
Yeah. So that's true.
Or is it perforating? I don't know.
That's the other thing. You got to think about perforating. What else is going on here? What's all this?
Mucin.
Well, there's some elastosis. There's also some histiocytes, right? Look at this.
Uh-huh.
It's not letting me draw. Okay. Histiocyte, right? Interstitial.
See, I feel like they're all eating the elastic fibers. I would have said that this was elastophagocytosis, but we already did actinic granuloma.
There's also not a whole lot of solar elastosis here. So I see there's like these sparse fibers that may look like that.
I felt like
elastofibers.
I thought
But
those
look
like
at the difference. There's much less solar elastosis in this specimen in general. So let's say we stain colloidal iron and it's positive. What do you call it? You're not going to call it actinic, right? We already told you that has no mucin.
GA.
GA. Is there a type of GA that perforates?
I guess yes.
perforating.
Okay.
Okay.
Perforating GA, yeah.
Perforating GA. That's the name for it. Fortunately, I don't actually remember getting that on my exam. But this absolutely can be on your exam.
Foreign body reaction.
Okay, what kind of foreign body were you thinking? What
I
type
have
of
no
foreign body?
idea.
This one's silicone, right?
Why do we say that?
Because it has the giant holes. I don't know. I just remember that the silicone looks like
Like a
this.
Swiss cheese. Like it has the look at there's a lot of variability in these holes. They're not just like holes of the same size or everything. They vary in size. They're also very Swiss cheese-like, and they have this fibrosis around them. What do we call
Need
this?
the giant. Do they need to have these huge ones or not necessarily?
No, you can have like, look, if you got a biopsy with a section of this, would you even see the giant ones?
Right.
So, what do we call it? I mean, you already said it. You already said it's silicone.
Silicone granuloma.
Well, in which we call a.
So, I don't actually know.
Could be, well, there's a name. So where do we what kind of locations are we going to think about this on?
I remember you showed us one in the penis at one point.
Uh-huh. Yes. Yeah. That's this one. Yeah, and so like paraffin injections.
Or like
Right.
buttocks, people do silicone implants there, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, they do. Where else do they do it?
In the butt.
In the butt. Yes. So those are two common locations that you can see paraphenomas, or these reactions to all sorts of these weird filler materials that you can get in, I don't know, maybe the Bronx or something, in some back alley. And then in some cases they can ulcerate, they can get necrosed or anything like that. Now, apparently, don't confuse that with these new fillers. Apparently, there are these new fillers that are actually, I think they're approved and they're being used for penis enhancement and buttock enhancement.
It's wild.
In fact, what's up?
It's wild. So is it just like silicone?
No, yeah, but they don't do this. So those fillers don't look like this.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's not the same thing. Like this is a paraphenoma. This is not the fillers that they're doing for penis enhancement and butt enhancement. At least not the dermatologists, hopefully. But they do have fillers that are for that, and they don't end up looking like this, fortunately.
Wait, so is this like you're using the word paraphenoma? Is this paraffin wax or like silicone?
So
And it has different names.
in this case, I don't know what the
Material is because
what the exact material is, but what you're expected to do is recognize the pattern. I don't think that you're going to ever get a question being like, okay, well, what exact type, like, of gook did they put in? Was it like a wax form? Was it paraffin wax? Was it like just like this type of silicone? You're not going to get a question like that, because I don't think you can tell on like just based on that.
But silicone typically has that like champagne bubble look, right? You'll see that in the lip still.
Yeah.
So usually when there's those larger holes, there's some kind of contaminant that's not, medical grade. It's like Home Depot or something.
Yeah. Back alley in the Bronx. Anyway. So yes, so this is like that typical example that they'll give you. But yeah. Anyway, you guys did great. Thank you, Shane, as always, and thanks everyone for participating and showing up. You guys are awesome.
Great job.
Thank you.
Thank you, Avi.
You.